to stand in the way of the charitable organizations who are going to help us understand, as was told in the morning, what we do and how do we do what we do. That is going to be the practical session here. And we have none other than Mr. Rajaram from Srinivasan Services Trust and Mr. Prem Kumar Gokuldasan from Bumblebee. In the midst of us also we have our Dr. Vasudevan, the CSR coordinator of this MMA. All of us have had enough of discussion, very clinical, analytical on the subject of CSR. But today we are going to see the masterpiece or the centerpiece, yes, because it is social and social empowerment, we can say, are the two words that will describe the primary or the soul, heart and soul of the subject of corporate social responsibility. We see here because it is done by Corporate Under Companies Act, and or we see here because it is an obligation responsibility. But what we need to see is yes, which is yes, it is social responsibility, social empowerment. And I am only reminded about what our great poet Mahakavi Bharatiyar said, தனி ஒருவனுக்கு உணவில்லை எனில் ஜகத்தினை அழித்திடுவோம் சொன்னான். எப்பேற்பட்ட வார்த்தைகள் பாருங்க, சொல்லும் போதே அப்படியே ஒரு பரபரப்பாக இருக்குது நமக்கு. அதில் ஒரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் என்னென்னா 140 crore பீப்புளில் இப்போ ரீசெண்டாக ஐ ரெட் அ ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ் 85 crore of our population is still not having sufficient food. The word qualification word is sufficient. போதிய உணவு இல்லாமல். எங்கே உங்களுக்கு உணவு இல்லையோ, யார்கிட்ட பசி இருக்கிறதோ, அங்கே அமைதியே இருக்காது. ஒரு தனி ஒருவனுக்கு அமைதி இல்லைன்னா, ஜஸ்ட் சேஷாயி சொன்ன மாதிரி இன்னர் பீஸ் இல்லாமல் போச்சுன்னா, படிக்கிறதோ வேலை செய்கிறதோ சொசைட்டியை பீஸ்ஃபுல்லாக வச்சுக்கிறதுக்கோ எப்படி முடியும்? Therefore, social justice is being achieved through corporate in CSR programs. Probably, I will always say this very openly. Government has realized 77 years of independence, okay, 10 years you can deduct because 2013 the provision came, so 67 years, still people are under poverty only. Still we are seeing economically underprivileged and socially underprivileged, discarded, disregarded, unfortunate classes of people amongst us. And therefore, this is yet another measure of the parliament to see if the efficiency with which corporate do their business. We don't need to tell much about it because we are in MMA, Madras Management Association. And the efficiency with which these things are done, probably that efficiency, that 100% output realization or return on asset could be seen in every penny that is being spent. And my own research, in 3 years I found top 50 companies spending like 8,500 crore and all. You can see the size of the money that is being spent on education, healthcare, and probably nowadays ESG and environmental aspects. So today we are going to see a presentation by Dr. You are also making presentations, Dr. Vasudevan, and we have the two NGO side presentations, and I have read a lot about Srinivasan Services Trust. It is not something which has come in 2013. It's about 1996 they were established, and they are doing social empowerment. I can put in single the expression. So we are going to listen to the experts who are on the field, who have worked in the field, who have practical experience of how this can be done, how large scale it can be done, how it can be expanded geographically as well as in terms of beneficiaries, and in understanding and studying and evaluating the impact assessment also. So may I now invite Sri Rajaram to share some of his experiences from the Srinivasan Services Trust.
இல்லையே இதில். காப்பி பண்ண சொன்னேன், பண்ணுவோம். Good evening, everybody. எல்லாருக்கும் மாலை வணக்கம். Many of you would have known about Srinivasan Services Trust. This is the social arm of TVS Motor Company, established in the mid-1990s, almost 2 decades before our policy, CSR policy came into existence. And Mr. Venu Srinivasan is the person who established Srinivasan Services Trust with the motive of serving the society, not to expand his business. So that's how the whole SST started. We call it as SST. And today SST works in 2,500 villages, majorly in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and very few places in 3 other states of India. You could see a lot of pictures. So we bring smiles along with the community, for the community. It is by the people, for the people, and of the people. That is our objective, and with that objective, we go ahead. So our work is completely in the villages, 100% in the villages, and that's how we start. We started in 1996, the CSR initiatives. Let's start with a very interesting story. You can just take 15 seconds of your time to go through this. This is in a place called Sirgari in Mayiladuthurai district. Why we shared this story here is that we had to communicate to everyone, and we have been doing it for such a long time. People have a notion that SHG is only for creating micro enterprises, creating more money among the people. That's one aspect, certainly. But it is also for the development of the villages. How unity is created in a village. Certainly money is important. Money is the most important part of the whole thing. But how unity is created, how the trust is created with the community. Any NGO, any CSR organization should believe in that trust with the community. We call it as community intimacy. How intimate are we with the community? And develop the community, and SHGs go beyond just creating money for themselves. They go and help the Anganwadis, they go and help the schools, they go and help the village itself. They go and do village festivals. This is a one of the examples, one of the thousands of examples which we have, where we say the self-help groups lead to social empowerment, political empowerment, and also economic empowerment. So the whole concept of what we started in mid-90s is to create that harmony in the community, create that harmony and peace in the villages. So இதுதான் நீங்க பார்க்கிறது in SST. இதுதான் நீங்க எல்லாம் ஃபுல்லா பார்க்க போறீங்க. ஒரு வில்லேஜை எப்படி ஃபுல்லா எடுத்து டெவலப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். எங்களோட யூனிக் ப்ராக்டிசஸ் என்ன? Sir was Mr. Krishnaswamy was talking about best practices. We call it as unique practices because for everybody, whatever they do is the best. Especially in this sector, we are so proud about it. I've been in TVS Motor Company for almost 15 years, and last 4 years I've been here. So the point is, for here, everybody feels they are the best. That's good, very nice. But it's unique. Every company has a unique practice. Each NGO sitting here has a unique practice. So we will explain to you what are the unique practices which we have. This is just a story which talks about how we create unity in the village. How do we create the empowerment in the village for the people to go and work with the community. So this is a vision and mission. Every NGO will start with this and then will have a lot of challenges as they go. We also face so many challenges and we are facing also so many challenges. This is a very brief thing what we are doing. We always believe in integrated, holistic development of a village. We work only in villages. We work in 2,500 villages. We work in 5 different areas in every village, whether it is women empowerment, agriculture and livestock, education and health infrastructure, water conservation and environment. And almost in all the villages, we work on all the pillars. And we have 60,000 women who have been enrolled in the SHGs. And a lot of work we do with livestock and agriculture too. And the renovation of the government infrastructure, especially schools, anganwadis, primary health centers, veterinary centers, community buildings. This is what we have done the last 27 years. So it's not 1 year data. A lot of work we have started working on water conservation. So the biggest strength of SST is we do have retired government officers coming from the government. We have people like Mr. Swaran Singh, who is a chairman of SST. He is an IAS officer. He was a principal secretary to the government of Tamil Nadu. We had many officers in that stature who help us in a lot of things in what we do. This is just a number. I'm not going to next slide. Yeah, okay. So over the years, where we started like any other NGO, we started donating. We started as a philanthropy. We started repairing school infrastructure, school buildings. So it became an entitlement in some of the villages. And villages said that, see, TVS is coming, so they do and go. So please give, please give, please give. So from the give and give concept, we moved into give and take. What do we take from there? We take change in behaviors. We take change in mindset of people. This is what we started in 2003, 4, 5, where we started the self-help groups. So self-help groups, what we saw in the first story, that was the first beginning for SST in terms of transformation of villages. And slowly today we are having collaborations with a lot of NGOs. And if any NGO wants to collaborate with SST, you are most welcome. We can have a discussion and we can take it further. But we work only in villages. Learnings, just giving money is not giving money into social development is not the solution. It is important in so much. So much it's important, but it's not what really gets the job done. It's much, much beyond that. The second and third are quite thing which you can just look at it. I'll just go into the last point. The most important part in this sector, which I believe, is that data and impact assessment. Unless and otherwise you have an impact assessed properly, the impact is assessed. Using right tools, right technologies, you will not be able to do further. You will be doing the same thing again and again, you'll come back to square one. So kindly, that was one thing which we learned over the years. I'll just quickly go into this 5 unique practices which have made all this possible from our side. The first is model of integrated holistic development. Here, if you see, we work on 6 different pillars, as we already shared with you. Women empowerment, agriculture, livestock, infrastructure, water conservation, environment, and social cohesion. All this we do in all the villages. That is our aim. Some of our colleagues are also here. But we have year-wise focus. This year we focus more on water conservation. Next year we focus more on infrastructure. So that's kind of focus is also there. So this is one unique thing which we do. We take any village and we do all the 6 activities. Second, this is the integrated holistic development. in TQM it's called total employee involvement, TEI. We call it here as total community involvement. The community is totally involved with us. We don't do, and we don't say we are doing for you. We are saying let us do together for the village. First we start with Urkutam. We call the village people, sit with them, understand what it is, and then get into the whole action. Number one. Number two, our employees who are sitting here, there are 10 people sitting here, all of them work and live and work in the villages. They are from the city, they go and work, sit and work in the villages throughout their career. That is the second one. We work amongst the community, embedded in society. We are being a force multiplier of the government. Government has a lot of schemes. They do a lot of good work. They wanted to do. We do a last mile connectivity. And this also acts as a force multiplier. And build capacity of the community so that they take ownership and become self. It's not so easy. All that is good in PowerPoint presentation, but it takes time. We realized in some villages it took almost a generation to make this happen. The second most unique practice which we are proud of is our HR strategy. We have three in our strategy. One is village development officer, one is the community development officer, and a field director. 1, 2, and 3. We take village development officers from the local community. Community development officers are MSWs from all the institutions in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and field directors are either retired government officers and from reputed NGOs. So this is how our HR strategy works, and our goal of achieving community intimacy, achieving impact through community intimacy. If you see on the left side, you will see continuous learning and development and enhanced performance and engagement. So this is what we plan and we do today. Very complex, looks to be a complex relationship. It's not so complex as you think. But this is a structure. You see an SST cluster where you have engineers, community development officers. We have 350 people on the roles of SST. And that is what Mr. Venu Srinivasan believes. People are the most important part of this whole system. 350 people on roles of the organization. And this is what you see. We are also conscious of the sensitivities of castes, communal affiliations, gender and political affiliations, but we don't get into it. We don't work for them. We work for the village as a whole. We work with the village, we work with the government, we work with other NGOs, we also work and collaborate with other partners. The fourth one is what I already told you, that's why I'm coming to the fifth one. Fourth one is our story, which maybe I'll take you once more, 1 minute. Yeah. The minimal branding, we don't know branding. We don't say, no, come, we are on an excellent job. We don't put our name anywhere. In all the infrastructure buildings, 2,500 infrastructure buildings, we don't put our names. We don't do that. And we are letting the work speak for itself. We are very, very clear. And the most important part of our unique practice, I'll take just 2 minutes on the slide. I think this is something very critical for us. We have a data-driven planning to performance management. The entire system of SST starts with the planning cycle of plan, doing, checking and acting. So, முதல்ல plan பண்ணிட்டு அந்த பிளானுக்கு ஒரு ப்ராசஸ் இருக்கும், ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இருக்கும். அந்த ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ல பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு அதை கிளியர் பண்ணிட்டு எல்லாருக்கும் அதை disseminate பண்ணிட்டு right from the chief, the chairman of the SST till the VDO of SST is knowing what is the plan which is required for them. That's the first thing. Second, we have the MPCP. MPCP is managing point and checkpoint. It is also a part of the planning cycle, but it's the most important thing which we review. So what is the checkpoint for every managing point? So what are managing points? First thing, we have to do something for the women. So that's the way I'm managing point. So checkpoint, அதுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணணும், அந்த managing point achieve பண்றதுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் activities நாங்க பண்ணணும், அது checkpoint. So this is the second very important part which we have. We have some of the planners also here. You can have an interaction if required. We have our planners here sitting just amongst you. Third thing, the data capture and digitized workflows. So this is also there, which we have established last 3 years. And we have a web app. All the employees in the company, 100% of the employees in the companies use only their laptop, only their iPhones and they have a application. Using the application, they get the data. ஆனா இதெல்லாம் முக்கியமான விஷயம் ஒன்று இருக்கு. The employee should be honest. If the employee is not honest, you can't do anything. So value system is so important for everything. If you don't have values, we always face a problem. Fourth one is data reporting and visualization. How do you visualize the data? Everybody captures data. A lot of data is available. How will you visualize? You have excellent dashboards. We have dashboards on SHGs, we have dashboards on infrastructure, community development activities, and scorecards. So every video the organization, village development officer, which I was talking about, has a scorecard. And that motivates them, that helps them to perform much better. Then consolidation analysis, very important thing, where they say Chennai office sits here and consolidates this, analyzes this. What is the takeaway from this? Every month we have a review with our chairman emeritus, Mr. Venu Srinivasan, who is our managing trustee also. So that really helps us to learn a lot from his perspective what we would like to do. Reviews and performance management, we have a monthly review in the clusters. By the way, cluster is a set of villages. Cluster is something 150 to 300 villages, and we have 15 clusters in SST. So, and Tamil Nadu 13 clusters, 2 clusters in Karnataka. So, others are very small clusters which are not including here. So, we have a cluster-wise review. Mid-month review. Infrastructure, we have a separate review every week by Chairman Mr. Swaran Singh. Agriculture and livestock review. So, because we have a planning cycle, we have a managing point checkpoint, this is being reviewed. And this is something very unique to us. I think these 5 are the unique things which we do in SST. And when you see the structure of SST, we have a finance head, he's sitting here today. We have a planning head, we have a HR head, like any other organization. We have every cluster has a field director, as you saw in the previous slides. This is a slide where you have a field director. We have a community development officer, we have an engineer, we have an agricultural specialist, livestock specialist, and an accountant in every cluster. So because we work with 40 crores of money every year, we have to work on all this. So this is something which is unique for SST, and every organization has something unique with them. And we are proud to be a part of this ecosystem where a lot of people have come forward to teach us. A lot of experts are there who are teaching us, helping us. And we also love to learn from each one of you here, because every NGO in this sector is so precious. Because all of us, all of you, serve the society, and that is the biggest thing which anybody can have, anyone can really be proud of. Thank you very much. So that's fine. You questions later. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And just one point, as sir was mentioning about impact, so just 1 minute I'll take. We have done an impact assessment with 2 organizations. One is Institute of Rural Management, Anand. This is what it revealed to us. 141% impact is something which we are very happy about, but this is not 1 year, 5 years. The work started some 2.5 decades back, but it takes time to get this. And the credit goes to the villagers. Credit goes to the employees of SST. The credit doesn't go to the management sitting here. Every guy has struggled to make this happen. We're so happy about it. Every community member has made this happen. Behavioral changes, a lot of behavioral changes have happened in clusters. If you see this figure and see the water what we have done. We have worked with Anna University, measuring impact. And continuously we do this. Every year we would like to do this. And here you see 79% of the farmers have water available for more than one cropping season. They have adopted to the changes in the cropping season. And the increase of water availability have encouraged farmers to go to more high income crops. So this is something very interesting, and all the credit goes to the community, goes to the villagers, goes to our employees, and then the management which is sitting in Chennai. Thank you very much. Yes.
Wonderful job. I thought basically you've got a professional thing and assist the organization. You've got a professional outlook that also could be done very efficiently. What I request is that there are 2 areas which I want you to address, if possible, subject to your own parameters and policies. Health insurance and crop insurance. It is most important. Today, they are not covered by health insurance. Though Bharat Bima Yojana is there, I covered 64 districts in Haryana. Okay, and bio card, 4 members, this one I covered. And also crop insurance with a metrology. Today, this is where the farmers need, and the workers and the farmers' health needs. So I thought I'd just request you, if you need
Thank you
any
so
help,
much,
I
sir.
volunteer to help you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Noted. Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is what I was telling you. Corporate can bring you the best model for governance. Number one. Number two, they will be able to commission resources required to reach out. Number three, they will be able to interact at the highest level in the government sources, and they will be able to make it happen. Probably we understand CSR is a big subject, and government has thought it fit to introduce it as part of the law so that we are able to see more smiles at a faster pace. And we have Sri Dr. Vasudevan, the CSR coordinator for MMA. He will be sharing his thoughts, followed by, of course, our friend Prem Kumar Gokuldasan from Bumblebee. We have 10 minutes only, so kindly.
Thank you, one and all of you. Good evening to one and all. Thank you, Dr. Ravichandran. You're able to hear me clearly? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravichandran, and my congratulations to Mr. Rajaram for his excellent presentation and for the wonderful work that the team has been doing, and also to the subsequent speaker, Mr. Prem Kumar, for all the work that they have been showcasing, they have been doing effectively. I have the pleasure of being here because Madras Management Association, which is already a not-for-profit organization, had been disseminating management training and sharing management information for all its members. In this context, we got the opportunity to carry out CSR responsibilities as well. And it is a fantastic journey of experiences that we have been undergoing the last 2-3 years. So the journey started in 2021 when MMA was approached by its members for taking up initiatives for getting itself registered as an implementing agency as a CSR partner. And that was a wonderful opportunity for MMA, though MMA by itself was not in the space of CSR earlier, but subsequent to the request of its members, esteemed members, it took the decision that yes, we will also get it, and because it serves the society at large, and it is part of the scheme of things that they are already into. So when the decision to undertake this CSR activity came in, the question is, what are we going to do under CSR? So the immediate thing that was thought about was building skills, because every time we find that there is always a skill gap that is being identified at the corporate level, at the industry level. And this skill building exercise, if it is brought out at a younger age, it becomes much more effective because the children are the future of this nation. So keeping that perspective in mind, it was decided that MMA will venture into the training activities, skill building training activities for the young children, school children who come from challenging background. இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் அதுக்கு ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லைடுக்கும் பின்னாடி ஒரு ஸ்டோரி இருக்கு. how these programs came in. ஏன்னா நிறைய இடத்துல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா there are a lot of gaps in terms of ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் கிடைக்காம அவங்களுக்கு சில தரப்பட்ட வேலைகள்லாம் கிடைக்காம போகிறது. அதற்கான வாய்ப்புகளை ஏற்படுத்தி தரணும், அதுவும் யங்கர் ஏஜில் ஏற்படுத்தி கொடுக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற எண்ணத்தோடு இது ஆரம்பிக்கப்பட்டது. ஸோ இது ஃபண்டமெண்டல் பேசிக் ஃபார் ஸ்கூல்ஸ்க்குன்னு எடுத்துன பிறகு என்ன க்ரைட்டீரியா எடுத்துக்கிறது? The students will be coming from, the children will be coming from socio-economic challenges. When I say social, economic challenges இருக்கலாம், social challenges இருக்கலாம், both, ரெண்டுமே இருக்கலாம். And they have lesser opportunities. நான் முன்னாடி சொன்ன மாதிரி it is lesser opportunities that they have. They don't have access. Each one has their own pain points. The parents, some of them may not be there. Children whose parents are not there, or single parent, and lot of instances which we have come across, which are very, which bring tears to our eyes. But the fact of the matter is, if we can make some effort to wipe up those tears, it makes a lot of difference. And the environment in which they live, they may not even have a proper house, they may not have a proper roof, leaking during the rainy season, or water entering for even a small rain, water entering their houses. And the surroundings in which they live could also be very, very challenging. So these are all the students, and we thought we will reach out to them. We will try to reach out with some of the training programs that we have identified. And then we thought, okay, how do we identify the children? So we kind of selected the schools which have these kind of students who come from very challenging backgrounds. So there is the PS group of schools. We have PS Higher Secondary School, which is in Mylapore, just opposite to the Ramakrishna Mission. Then we have adjacent to itself a PS Matriculation School, and then there is another school near Mundakaniamman Koil Street, which is kind of the surrounding itself is such that that the parents come from as far as from the Santom area, fishermen's children, and kind of parents. As I told you, some of them do not even have parents, both parents or single parent kind of thing. Then the other schools that we had chosen were Children Garden Higher Secondary, which is also in Mylapore area. We kind of, to start with, because we are just about now 2.5 years old baby. So we wanted to ensure that the small steps that we take in this direction are one that we could measure in terms of the outcomes, because we didn't want to get into larger scale and then find it difficult to manage. So we wanted to ensure that every rupee spent is going in the right direction, that we can monitor and that we can have control over it. So that's how we started. So these are all the schools which are kind of within a reasonable geographical limit, where we can have access of going regularly and to verify, to ensure that things are happening on the ground. So there is another school also, which is Lady Sivasamy School, which is again in Mylapore. And then we have schools, Saint Raphael schools are again in Santom area. And then we have Rani Mayyamai schools. So these are all schools which there are about 7 schools that we have identified as of now, where we are providing training for them. And then, of course, in addition to that, we also have schools in T Nagar, that is a Ramakrishna Mission group, Sarda Vidyalaya School. This is purely girls' school. So we have both at the senior level as well, higher secondary level, as well as at the primary level. There are 2 different schools there, so we address their needs also. So how do we identify? What kind of skills do we build? So we thought we'll have to, it's not that every program can be given to every child, because each one's level of learning will be different. They are at different age group levels, but nevertheless we need to support them. So at these very fundamental primary level, we thought we will help them with the basic fundamentals of understanding science, math, and English in a very easy manner, because they go by the typical textbook method of learning. And the teachers are also more or less kind of trained, and they have to cover their syllabus. They have their own challenges. The schools have their own challenges. But how do we make them learn in a more creative manner, that they can always remember, recollect, connect with what is happening around? So we had people who can train them with on fundamentals, science, mathematics and English, with English language, using small examples, small demonstrations, which they can actually see as also practice. So those were kind of things which we were able to bring about, and the schools feel that when they come to the higher classes, they are able to grasp the subjects much more effectively and perform much more effectively. In fact, that has also helped to increase. In the last 2 years, we found that the intake of the schools have also increased because of the kind of programs that we are adding to their regular curriculum. In the secondary level, we have programs which are game-based programs. I'm going to talk about each of the programs subsequently in the next few slides, So we have this program, what is called as a tab-based STEM learning, and this has been developed by a team of IIT incubated AI learning engineers. They have developed a platform, and this platform enables the students to learn STEM. When I say STEM, it is science, technology, engineering, and math. So they learn all these subjects in a game-based manner, so that they kind of involve themselves, they enjoy it, but at the same time, there is a lot of learning also that happens. So the kind of reports that we get in terms of their performances are all captured scientifically, as Mr. Rajaram was mentioning about trying to measure the outcomes. So we have these measures which are captured. The students themselves operate. We have in fact provided them tabs under the CSR activities. We have provided all the students tab. They use the tab, and these tabs the children themselves operate. They are given 40 minutes within the same class hour sessions, 40 minutes a week. There are about 26 sessions. There is a pre-assessment that happens at what level they are at in terms of science, math, and other things. And there are some specific skills that are identified in which they are supposed to improve upon. So all these are captured before the training, and then they go through the training, and this is all the training is in game based. So they enjoy doing those activities. So once they complete, and it is a kind of competition, no? Who completes first? Some students completed what is meant for 40 seconds, they complete in 20 seconds, 30 seconds kind of thing. So they are able to compete with each other and perform better also. So we are seeing a lot of improvement in their performances as well. So the different skills that we have been able to improve upon are the visual processing skills, which is very essential. There are some 5 fundamental skills that has been focused upon. This is visual processing, then memory skill. We all know that earlier we felt that we are all used to memorizing everything, but today we find the students are finding it very difficult to memorize, to keep it in memory, because of lot of distractions that are happening around. And therefore this is one area where they are able to improve upon their memory skills as well. And then you have the skills of focus and attention, especially in the during the COVID period, when they were all not in the classroom setup. There was a lot of distractions that they had to undergo, which was not their fault at all. So we wanted to improve upon those skills also. So now they are slowly building up, getting the right kind of focus and attention, because earlier it was a very big challenge. Then of course the linguistic skills are very important, as we all know that communication is very essential for any student. And all this happens at the class 6, 7 and 8. For every class it is being provided. And problem solving skills, these are also again math based, so they learn the fun way all these skills. The The fact of the matter is, we kind of are able to capture those outcomes for the class individually, for every student, for a group of class, for a particular section, as well as for the entire school. So all these are measured and then the outcomes are given at the post assessment, and we are able to give interventions of improvement on areas where they fall behind. So sub-average skill averages are there in terms of reasoning, selective attention, creative thinking, synthesis. This is very, very important for students. Creativity, working memory. Normal memory and working memory is different. So these are all the various aspects that are being covered. You can see the kind of measures that are captured. Each one has a particular indicator and indicators as well as interpretations that go behind, which are communicated to the students and the teachers concerned. Young Entrepreneurship Program. This is another excellent program to bring creativity and talent amongst the students, and also to make them understand what money matters. We are all talking about being entrepreneurially engaged, and we talk about this in the college level, university level. We want everybody to be not job seekers but job givers. So if this kind of approach, the training on entrepreneurship is given at a younger age, say at the class 9 level, because lesser than that they might find it difficult. 9th standard is reasonably good enough for them to assimilate this kind of information. So this program is offered at the class 9. So every program is chosen in such a manner at what class they will be able to take that kind of a training. This program, Young Entrepreneurship, is not given in class 6. So we have, every program is meant for some particular class so that they are able to assimilate and gather those information. Robotics again is for standard 8. So they learn robotics by practicing practically for it. This is all 10-day program that every student undergoes from in standard 8. This is offered across all schools. And you can see, and we have the students who have undergone this program, in one of the schools, they participated in within the state competition, inter-school competition, and they won the prize as well. So that is the kind of training, and they also feel good about it. Earlier, they did not have any idea about robotics. And within 10 days, they were able to demonstrate to that level of winning the prize, interstate competition. Of course, we all know that health is very, very important, and this is a program that is also sports activities. We provide training for schools which do not have, they may have a PT teacher, but all of them may not be very good in all the sports that are required. But students have those inclination, they have the energy, they have the talent in the respective sports. So we wanted to encourage that also, and these sports were encouraged here. Then this is a program for standard 11 from the IT computer science background. So this is a program which will help them to understand the fundamentals of digital, how to maintain, how to secure the password, how to keep it safe, how not to share it with others, and then how to design their own web page. So all these will help them to kind of giving them the kind of confidence that they require when they move out of the school. And there are instances where the training partners that we have engaged, they also take them for small works of development for web design and other things for which they are getting remunerated as well. So it becomes an opportunity, they get a good feeling. So I think I explained to you about Science Made Easy for the standard 3, 4 and 5 students. Memory skills, this is another program this is not part of the STEM program, that is the tab-based program, but is specifically focused for standard 6. You can see the environment in which the students are sitting. They are all sitting on the floor. You can see they don't have benches to sit upon, but they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of interest to learn. This is another standard 11 program beautician program, which enables standard 11 and 12 students who come from a very economically backward background, and they have economically challenged background, in fact, and they have the opportunity to either do beautician as a course. Subsequent to that, if they are not able to continue, there are many students like that who are not able to pursue further studies, but this will help them to develop on the skills that they have learnt here. So space is always a mystery for everyone, whether it's a child or any elderly person. And this is another thing, another program that is being offered to the students to get the feel of the space. And we have engaged the best trainers who have been involved in the national space mission activities also of the government of India. So they are part of ISRO and other things. They have been sending students to NASA as well for getting training, for getting the exposures. So that is the kind of people. So these are the programs that we do. Tally is for commerce students to help them learn, because that will enable them, if, as I told you earlier, for beautician program, they are unable to pursue further in, for a graduation program, they can still manage to get into some of the organizations to get their livelihood. We are focusing on their skill building activities so that they are also able to become independent and not dependent on their parents. And all these are subject to audit. The entire process is audited, the outcomes are audited, and we have engaged external auditors for this purpose. We have also MSW, Social Work Department of the DG Vaishnav, also who continuously evaluate them as an internal audit process and give us reports on areas of improvement. These are all the sweet challenges that we have to identify what kind of skills that we need to give to the students. Who will be the training partners? This is very, very important. The partners play a the trainers play a very, very important role in giving the right thing, and they should have that attitude of giving. So we have identified those kind of people who are not looking at from a profit motive, but are also willing to become part and share the process of the CSR activities. And choosing the schools was also a good challenge. And sometimes we are also providing some infrastructural facilities. So identifying the vendors is very competitive, and not 1 rupee we should be paying. So we get those process of getting the quotations, choosing the lowest, and not only the quotation in terms of price, but also ensuring that the quality is maintained. Quality is very, very important. And scheduling the training, this is a very, very big challenge, because the school have their own schedules and other things, so we have to maintain their regular school schedule timings, and in addition to that, provide these trainings as well. We have to ensure that it is properly managed and administered. We have a MMA CSR steering committee at our end. In addition to the company which provides the CSR funds, they might be having their own committee, which is as part of the requirements of the CSR Act. But nevertheless, for our own implementation, we have a steering committee which goes through the process, evaluates everything right from the planning stage, getting it approved, having the donors also involved in the whole process, because donors, it is their money that we are responsible for. Yes, of course, as I was telling you, the donors are the persons who have been contributing, and the donors, as Mr. Rajaram was mentioning, they did not want to publicize what they have been doing, and we thank them for what they have been doing. As I was telling you, the impact and outcomes have been tremendous. The students are ready, are we, and we should be ever ready to support every needy. Thank you all. We will take the questions later on.
I invite Sri Prem Kumar Gokuldasan for one thing we have to tell about him is that he is supplying or constructing the fourth pillar. Fourth pillar, I say, because it is roti kapda makan is even today it is relevant, in spite of several years of independence or decades of independence. and even after 1 decade of CSR. And the fourth pillar is education. I invite our friend Bumblebee Prem Kumar Gokuldasan to share his thoughts. Only problem is the time constraint. I request him to be not so generous like Dr.
Dignitaries from the dais and dignitaries of the stage. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Good evening. So it's really a tough time, I think, getting a last slot on the day, right? So let me. So first of all, thank you so much, Mr. Krishna Swami, for this opportunity to be here. A privilege to be here, and for this such a beautiful stage and forum where both the ends are, very, very productive, very keen in terms of what they want to learn. Sorry. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, I'll keep it short. So I'm going to play a 2-minute video, and then I'm going to talk about only, so just talk about specific in terms of, how different we are, and probably coming from corporate to non-profit, right? What are those, brilliant experiences I have. Couple of points I'm going to talk about.
கேடில் விழுச்செல்வம் கல்வி ஒருவருக்கு மாடல்ல மற்றையவை. This is one of the 10 verses in 40th chapter Kalvi of the classic Tamil Sangam literature Tirukural, which emphasizes the importance of education in human life and thus served as an inspiration for naming the app Kalvi 40. The seed for this was sown when I was disappointed with the profound inadequacy and imparity in the quality of education imparted to the rural children. Compared to the countries I had lived and worked in this 19 years of professional life. Critical observations upon visiting the government schools across Tamil Nadu and Puducherry were single teachers in many rural schools, struggling average to below average students, inconsistent quality level of teachers, not amicable environment for students at their home. Kalvi 40 was envisaged as a tool to address the above issues. The Kalvi 40 project aimed at providing explanation of the textbook content in a very interesting format of captivating 3-minute videos where all the subjects were taught by showing relevant images and well-paced explanation that would take along even the slow learners. The design of limiting all the videos to around 3 minutes is to keep the app light and to make the most of children's attention span. Apart from these variety of online features, holistic development, offline training, offline summer camps added a lot of value to them. In the current form, Kalvi 40 offers 3-step solution. Number 1, free Android mobile application without any advertisement to the students from grade 3 to grade 8 who learn through Tamil medium. Number 2, upgrading the conventional classroom into a low-cost digital learning environment. Number 3, data-driven approach to appreciate and incentivize the usage through online mechanisms.
So currently we are present in 900 schools across Tamil Nadu. That's okay. Thank you. So I'll start here. So currently we are present in 900 schools across Tamil Nadu, taking this digital learning experience to each of these classrooms. Some of the important learnings, I would say, are probably, from a conventional non-profit organization to an technology-oriented non-profit organization. Naturally, coming from corporate to this side, I think one critical example, I would like to share 2 stories and then talk about why technology can be, very important. So, what we have is a digital content, interesting video, and it is like, the whole content is being prepared by volunteers across the globe. So 10 to 15 countries, Tamil Makkal across the globe have come together and prepared this video. And this whole thing is available inside a rural village, in a rural classroom. So, and also it is available in an app form. So this being available, we do not know sometime in terms of, we know the mobile number who is using and how much is the usage. Beyond that, we do not have track of who's using. So someday we get an, apart from the school curriculum, we also have like general topics, like, variety of things, 23 different categories and all that. One fine day, I get a video from a remote village like Kallakurchi, where a kid, who has learnt basics of French, bonjour means vanakkam, from Kalvinapada app, and he or she gives it to, tells his mom to record this video saying that I'm going to now talk about French and the basics of Tamil, bonjour is vanakkam, and asks his mom to record this whole thing and gives it back to me and send that video to me. So the whole thing I talk about is like the technology, the power of technology is, I do not know who the recipient is and he does not know who I'm giving to. But the important point is I have given him an enablement where that self-learning is something, the most powerful thing what you can offer to kids, right? Self-learning. So that's number one. Number two, all this technology and then classroom experience and all that, I think, someday we always doubt ourselves in terms of, are we quite right? Are we getting enough feedback? So we do this sometimes. So we cut down everything. We go to the rural villages because we are working completely on rural. Go to villages. Are we really making an impact for ourselves? We tend to question. So one day I'm in Tiruvannamalai, maybe I think 1 year back. So traveling across villages, Vandavasi is remote. From Vandavasi, it is like 40 kilometers inside Ramakrisnapuram, the village. And I go and ask kids in terms of how do you know Kalvinapadu and how do you install Kalvinapadu? A blank question, asking them to respond, how do they do it? And 99% of the kids say, sir, Tamil la type panna, sir, English la type panna. So almost like fourth school and everybody is repeating the same thing. That is how I got the app downloaded, Kalvinapadu, and everybody is repeating. This school, almost, 6th standard, a small girl comes and the teacher says, sir, she doesn't, amma kudukave matanga mobile. But only she gets for a limited time. And the netla, amma avladhan kudupanga. Teacher is saying, and that kid comes. And on the ponutta na kekran, I am asking her, eppdima Kalvinapadu install panna? 6th standard, mari solradhukku kashtapattittu, she said, voice command, right? So I think that is the power of, when we are giving them opportunity and to allow them to explore, and the power of technology is like, we do not know, you get something like that. That's a phenomenal thing where we didn't teach her to use voice command, but she has taught herself. She has learned by probably looking around and giving the opportunity. I think those are the powerful things, what I would say, technology. So technology, I would say, every NGO, wherever possible, please use technology, because the way I look at it is like, சந்தோஷப்படுறதோட இன்னைக்கு கவலைப்படுறது தான் ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்குது. ஒவ்வொரு கிராமத்தில் போயிட்டு ஒவ்வொரு குழந்தையும் ஒரு ஸ்கூலையும் பார்க்கும்போது அவ்வளோ கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது, அவ்வளோ வேதனையாக இருக்குது. இன்றைக்கும் இங்கே இருக்கோம். ஏன்னா நான்லாம் 7 வருஷம் யூரோப்பில் இருந்திருக்கேன், ஜெர்மனியில் இருந்திருக்கேன், யூகேல இருந்திருக்கேன். when I come back and look at it, I always dream, when are we going to give free education to my citizens? When are we giving that quality of education to my free education? So my benchmark is very high. I'm not satisfied with whatever we are giving. Whatever we are doing for last 4 years also, we feel, I would say, more than happy, still unhappy that it's a long way. Maybe it is 20 years of work ahead, what we need to do, right? So அது மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது please use technology. Only limited people are here and limited people, minuscule of people are attempting this. Please become very, very efficient, and that is where we can do wonders. So I think point number 1. Point number 2, collaboration mindset. I would always say, I think the purpose is only one thing. When I go to tell my team, more than me, I think my team has brilliant experiences. When I go to, schools, I think serving them, making them better, and when we come back and see that we have given some impact to them, I think that is the only thing we believe in that. Everything else is just a noise. Who is doing, what we are doing, which brand is doing, it is immaterial that whether Kalvinapadu is doing, either somebody else is doing. Are we making a difference to those kids? So collaboration, I think if you have that mindset, we are ready to collaborate with anybody, And whatever I know in terms of technology, whatever we know as an organization, we're ready to share. Similarly, please share that. I think we have limited time. When we all collaborate together as an CSR organization, as an NGO, I think the pace in which we can go forward is something phenomenal, and that we don't have time to reinvent the wheel. We want to learn from you, adopt it, and move faster. I think this is point number 2 I would like to. So there are so many examples here I can talk about. And I think that the third important thing I always talk about is like, I think we need long-term approach. You know, one classical example I would like to quote is like when I go and present to many people, institutions, industries and organizations. Recently, 6 months back, I presented to IIT, don't quote me outside. So IITM director, I think one of those things, before even he allowed me to present, I think only one question he asked, sir, last 30 years, நம்ம என்ன சார் பண்ணோம்? ஒண்ணுமே பெருசா நடக்கல. What is that? Have we tremendously changed? Looking at the benchmarks, what we have. So I think that is the question what we have when, we want to seriously make change. So look at long term, are we here? Even if you look at the scope, you want to narrow the scope, but do a long term thing. You want to stay here, give, every penny, whatever being, CSR funding what we get, we want to be meaningful, truthful, and I think we want to make that change. I think these are the 3 points, I think important points I want to leave it for the non-profit organizations. I'm so always thankful for the CSR funding and support. And, I think that makes a huge impact, and together we can do a lot of things. So thank you so much.
So, friends, we had a very wonderful session. We don't have time now. We had learnings from what Sri Rajaram said on Srinivasan Services Trust, as well as what our friend Prem Kumar just now said about education and the manner in which he is reaching out to the remote corner, the masses and the children. It's wonderful. And we have also seen how in 2 years MMA could reach out to so many schools and create a lot of skill development for children. Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, is one thing which you guys have to go through. And if you are NGO, try to connect to one of those goals or some of those goals, improve the governance. It is very important in order to be in this space. And in order to be in this space, you should have the mission, vision, plans, and governance, and also the right approach at the right time to the right person, so that we are able to, achieve our goals. And all of you, I will definitely say, with this வையத்துள் வாழ்வாங்கு வாழ்பவன் வானுரையும் தெய்வத்துள் வைக்கப்படும். நீங்கள் ஃபீல்டில் போய் நீடி பீப்புளுக்கு டைரக்டாக ஒர்க் பண்ணுறது, that is the highest a person can achieve in human life. They are the people who are likely to be kept alongside the God. That is the kind of service all of you are giving. CSR Spark has given you a platform to learn about all these things, get a network and interaction amongst all the stakeholders. Donors are corporate in CSR. There is no problem for that. If they are making profits, they are giving a portion of it. But translating that money into impact in the society can come only from NGOs. And that is what Krishnaswamy said in CSR Spark he is striving to achieve. With this concluding remarks, I would like to wind up the session, leaving the interaction with our friends during the tea time. May I invite Sri Krishnaswamy.
So we've had 3 different types of implementing agencies over here, and I hope the crowd is slightly thinned down now. Nothing wrong about it. It's quite late, and I'd like to thank Dr. Ravichandran. I request Captain to please come over. Vijay Kumar, kindly present a memento to Dr. Ravichandran, please. And also the mementos to the panelists, Captain. So while concluding the event for today, I'd like to thank everyone who's made it here, who's been here patiently up to now, and of course the panelists, and a big thank you to MMA for partnering with us. And I think it's been a phenomenal event right from the morning, from the speeches, everything. Thank you very much. Hope to meet next year. Thank you. Please stand for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे